Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the D.M.C Podcast with your hosts, Adam Rigby and Cody Hunter. We are fired up to be back today. It is episode number 13, lucky number 13 in our world. And what a week. What a week there, my bro. What do you think about how we're coming off the last week's episode and just everything in general? Give us your thoughts, brother.
Mate, welcome back. Gratitude first for you and gratitude for our listeners. So expressing gratitude every day is one thing our fam is going to get very, very good at. Very hard to do, but mate, it's I think we talked about it today, how it seems like it's been a month since we did our last podcast because a lot's happened. A lot has happened. Last week blew me away, actually. It was our first guest. It was our first run through of having someone on. I really hope people enjoyed it. The feedback has been great. Glenn was very gracious and a really good snapshot into the life of a living legend. The supporting a lot of the concepts that we've been talking about, which is very, very cool. And when you hear people like that are successful and doing well, and role models and leaders that are practicing the things that we talk about, like the gratitude, like the reading, self-improvement, mindfulness, all of these types of things, it just shows you that is the path that we all need to follow. And the great thing I got out of it was just being curious, continuing to chase butterflies. I love that. So yeah, I was buzzing. I mean, I've known Glenn for a long, long time, but really sitting down and having a DMC, a deeper meaningful chat, and for him to open up that way, was grateful for the time. And obviously he's going to start to express himself more, open himself up more on hopefully YouTube. He's definitely doing it on Instagram and Facebook, so it could lead to him doing a podcast, which we were all behind. And our my advice to him was the same as our advice to everybody: just do it.
Exactly.
If you have something to say, it is valuable. Do it. Do it.
I really enjoyed his whole mindset around, being told you're not good enough or no, the old same old story. But it's kind of like the whole idea of making the decision of what you want and then just going for it at full force and not letting others, dictate those plans. Like not letting others slow you down or tell you you're not good enough for it or whatnot. Because again, I've got some great video and I really should prove it. Show this, but in front of a camera, I would say 10 years ago in my first gym, there's some videos of me doing some workout videos and me talking. Mate, when I look at those videos, it's just the most cringe because you just didn't know what you're doing. You're just trying your best. You're speaking the different way. My hand signals, my cadence of speech, everything about it was just so different. And it's awesome because without those little things and those little breadcrumbs you leave behind, it's really hard to see how far you've come. You see yourself today and you're like, holy shit, compared to 10 years ago, this is a whole different level of presentation. And it's cool, man. And it's good to look back on old practices, old lifts, old whatever you've got in terms of data and just see how far you've come and be proud of that. It's really cool.
And it's like they say, it's been a work in progress for us. That was our first interview, our first guest. So there was always going to be, a little bit of static, but I thought it went really, really well. I mean, like I say, the conversation flowed and, we were right behind Glenn opening up. One thing that I want to put straight in the introduction, as I fired through it, I did actually introduce Glenn as devoted father and husband of three. It is actually a devoted husband and father of three. So no, Glenn does not have three wives. One lovely wife, Sarah, who is in her own right an absolute legend, great athlete and super person, great connector, and obviously his lovely three children who are chips off the old block of both of them. So it's a winning combination, and I'm sure they've got a bright, bright future as a family. So slight correction, but hey,
love it. Hey mate, and we came off that and we realized how important and interesting it was to have a guest on the show, and we are continuing to work on that list. We're putting the list together. We're making contacts with those out there that we'd love to have on the show. And the benefit to our viewers and our fam is that we will have guests way more often moving forward, and it's really exciting for us. And it's a bit of a challenge for us too, bro. We've got to, we have a bit of an idea of who we want to get, and it's going to be like, can we actually get it? This is cool stuff for us as well,
And we can do anything we set our minds to, but you've got to throw it out in the universe. You know, you've got to take that punt. And if you don't ask, you know, you regret 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So we are throwing some stuff out there. We've had some cool feedback. We've got an awesome, such an amazing guest lined up. A person who I'm inspired by, who is love and light. So I can't wait to announce that. Hopefully next week we can let the planets align. We've got some super, and again, our big, hairy, audacious goals or our aspirations in terms of who we want to get on, but we do want that variety, because this is, you know, the fam isn't just all not one-dimensional. Well, this is all things for all people, so we appreciate the listeners, just definitely the variety of listeners that are coming through, and the feedback has been cool. So what we would love for you guys to do is just to share the message for us, you know, help us spread this far and wide. Share it to your stories. We've got some promos coming up that will reward you for such things, some cool stuff that we're doing. But if you enjoy it, don't keep it to yourself. You know, it's a secret that we should never keep. Share it with your loved ones, your friends, put it on your story if you can. We would really appreciate it. We're starting out, you know, like I say, our aspirations are to help as many people as we can, and that should be your aspiration as our fam as well. You can do that by sharing this message, like and subscribing, all of those cool things. But we appreciate you guys. The love and support that we've had so far has been amazing. We'll talk about it all the time because it's real and shows that we're on the right path. So kudos to you, my friends, listening, watching. If you are watching, you may notice a little bit different my commitment to the 19-year-old YouTuber here today. So definitely a lack of product and an abundance of curl. Not quite beautiful, sort of the rocker hairstyle, but pretty close, mate. There's it's a little bit wavy here, mate. And as you would expect, Mr. Cody Hunter, whammo.
Hey, bro, the blind
I
barber.
can cut paper on that haircut.
Hey, bro, the blind barber, not sponsored post, by the way. This is not sponsored, but the blind barber, mate, they always deliver, bro. Always deliver. And again, a place for DMCs. Head to the barbershop, mate. Like, again, we have amazing conversations there. You're only in there for 45 minutes to an hour, but you just have great chats, and it's an awesome place for men. I mean, again, talking a little bit about men and mental health, about, you know, the platforms to be able to speak and really, you know, talk to each other and get deep and meaningful. What a place to go to, though, eh? Like, what a place to go to. And if you find the right barber, mate, you have some amazing conversations.
Well, the hair salons of old, you know, the barbershop is a new meeting place for men, which is great. And we now have the confidence to share stuff that we've never shared before because of outlets like this. Our knowledge and our confidence improves as more people start to talk about stuff. So whether it starts as sports, that's cool, common ground, find the common ground, and then start to talk about other stuff. It's amazing what comes out. But barber, when you sit down there and listen to the conversations going on, it's pretty cool. So long may that continue. Go out, just chat to everybody, man. There's some sick people out there with some awesome stories. If you do have stories of your own and that's your legacy, share them, man. Share them, write them down, put it on YouTube, talk to people.
I was saying to you last week that I had because I'm learning a lot about myself during this whole DMC process as well, you know, along the journey with you. And there was an instance last week where someone in the gym, we started having a conversation, and I could feel like we were going to get a bit more of a share, and it went in a direction that was quite traumatic to this guy, and instead of me sort of pulling away from it and sort of thinking like, oh, maybe he doesn't want to go anywhere with it, like I don't really want to probe, because just stay surface level, just stay safe and surface level. So but I didn't, and I just said, look, is it, I just probed a bit deeper, asked some more questions, Are you able to deal with, just get real deep and meaningful? And it was a really cool opportunity. And I felt like it set that intention that if he ever wants to yarn on more or go a little bit deeper, that platform is now set, that he knows that I'm there and I will listen, and I'm there, I'm there for him. So that was, again, just having our eyes open to what's in front of us, having the intention to have our eyes open for opportunities for deep and meaningful chats, because when they are there, you'll see the opportunity and you can take it. But if you're not looking for it, it's very easy just to move away. And there could be this like chance that you're going to have to make impact, support, help, or just listen. And so that was, again, I really appreciate and grateful for this podcast, because that's teaching me more about having that intention. And that's all new for me, going another level just randomly. So
yeah, just
cool,
checking yourself, checking yourself, and being there. We're redefining what being there means, because a traffic light is just a stick in the ground until it's switched on, and then it has an impact, then it stops traffic or allows traffic to flow. And the same with the conversation. Are you just there? Are you the stick in the ground, or are you the light just dictating the traffic, the flow? And the flow is the conversation. And it's amazing how you can sit down and have talks. I've had some awesome chats this week. Had a great chat to my daughter, a little bit of a lunch, a little bit of a sit down. Those are the things that I really cherish. Just reminding her how proud I was, and because my wife and I live in this lifestyle that can be quite crazy. The gym life can be quite frantic at times, and when you're doing stuff like that, I think there's a pressure that your kids feel as though they need to live up to something. And I felt as though I needed to remind my daughter that she didn't have anything to live up to, because she was excelling in life as a person. She's amazing. She's got a degree. She's got a job now as a qualified physiotherapist. She is helping people daily. She's making an impact. She is an absolute ray of light. Both my girls are incredible, and taking the time to sit down and tell her that was unbelievable. You don't sit on your feelings. Don't sit on your hands. Go out and share that shit. And if you do love someone, or you are proud of them, just tell them. And if you're not good at telling them, show them in other ways. Well, again, man, one thing I keep harping on about this love language and saying we're going to do stuff, so we'll line that up, because some of the actually, what I'll do is we should try and time that in with a guest, so we can talk, get an expert in about that, and a bit of balance, a bit of a yin to our yang, and we can talk more about that. But if you're not good at talking about it, show it in other ways. Even a hug, man. How good is a hug, and not just the old pat on the back? I was watching a documentary on Tiger Woods, and we've talked about Tiger Woods before. Absolute champion, born to be a champion, or pushed into being a champion, whichever way you view the documentary. But his caddy, a Kiwi, his ex-caddy, there was a moment there where his father had passed away, and he won a tournament, and they embraced, and his caddy was kind of like, oh, you can see he wasn't a hugger. He wasn't a hugger, so it was a bit awkward. So we don't all have to be that. Tiger was in, and he needed someone to hold, and the emotions just welled, and he was crying, and that's okay if you're not a hugger, but you can actually open yourself up to an embrace. It's amazing how it feels. Some people weren't born into that environment. As Glenn was saying, he kisses his kids every day and tells them he loves them. I strive to do the same. Can't do that obviously if you're away, but still let them know. But hugging is just, even if you're walking past someone, just go, come here, just give them a hug. Fuck, it's cool. It's just it's just another level of connection, and your souls and your spirits collide. It is beautiful. Get out there and fucking hug someone. That's all I'm saying. Anyone, maybe ask for permission if you don't actually.
Not some strangers.
Or the same thing. So, sometimes you sense when someone needs a hug. So,
yeah,
can I hug you, or do you want a hug?
If it's someone that, you can. Yeah, that's right. You have some tactile. There's some guys at the gym, that are good huggers. A couple of the bros. Bros hug hard now, mate. It's not like not like the old days, where like
the old man hug was like handshake. Push.
Yeah. Ooh. But it's like, because I know the transition. For me, it was a handshake, and then it went to the boom with a hug across the hand, and then it's a tap, and you smack the hand out of the way, and you just dive in. Boom, mad hugs. It's the best, Going for the high five, whack it.
There's
hug it.
An absolute fitness legend, and people that know have been around the gym for a long time. Mid Thomas is her name, and she's one of these icons. She's done a lot for group fitness, grew up in it, and has moved on to greater things. Just an amazing spirit. And she was the queen of the uncomfortable hug. So what she would do was once she had you, she would not let you go.
Yeah.
And then the moment you released was the moment she squeezed. So she was the absolute queen of, and there was method to the madness, you know, and it would break you down. So it was it was the queen of the uncomfortable hugs. But certainly once you get past that, it kind of reciprocates, and they can go on for lengthy amounts of time. But you can get, you can find it's quite fulfilling, that moment when you just let go and release. And especially try it with your loved ones, obviously the ones you are most close to first. If you can go home today and just give someone a hug and say, hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for being in my life. Thanks for being here with me. Hug it out.
Mate, it's called the morning hug in our house. No matter what goes on.
Nice.
The moment you see someone in the morning, one of the kids or whoever it is, morning hug. My daughter will yell at the top of her lungs as she comes out the door. Morning hug, and she'll just sprint over, jump up, and koala onto you. You can't get her off. It's awesome, eh? It's a great way to start.
Isn't it great when you're away and you've been away, and then one of your kids just runs in and absolutely smashes into you like a puppy, grabs you and gives you a hug. That's just amazing. So if you haven't experienced that, by a puppy, maybe you could experience that without having kids. But hugging is cool in my books. I am a hugger. People know that. I've been brought up in an environment where hugging was okay. Yeah. I've accelerated that to a whole new level with friends and family. People that know me know that. They'll always get a hug. But that's who I am. That's genuine. That's just my level of connection and a sign of admiration. One thing that I am low on hugs, because obviously I've been away since surgery, so I'm a week post surgery, so it's going well. Still got a leg still wrapped up and has to be wrapped up for another week, so going through that. And I posted on the DMC Daily, mate, about you don't miss a good thing till it's gone. So when you've got time off, you really from the things that you do and your systems and your processes and your habits, and you realize, okay, wow, man, I missed that. And it's also the people around those habits, like the participants and the other instructors and the people at reception. So shout out to those people that I haven't seen for a while. Just miss catching up, shooting the shit, having a laugh. Just shows you guys that the connection for me is 100% authentic. Do miss hanging out, but I'll be back greater, faster, stronger, more athletic than ever before, maybe with a few bruises and a couple of holes in. But I will be back. I'll be back.
Just goes to show, I love that concept. And you can't take your health for granted today, because you don't even understand how good it is to have, like, I've had I walked down the stairs in uni at my flat, and my little toe caught the edge of the carpet, and it went bonk, and it just poked out the other side, like it was all hanging out the edge. And that little toe, so small, so simple, yet caused me so much trouble and so much pain and so much hurt. And then you think about doing a big toe or anything larger, you don't realize how nice it is to be pain-free. Some of you probably don't understand the concept of that if you haven't played a sport like I did for so many years, where pain-free was almost non-existent. There was no days you were pain-free. But living pain-free and moving pain-free, and how good that feels, and how amazing that is. And then the moment you lose that, holy shit, man, it is. I mean, like yourself, it's a tough thing to handle, to get through those periods, and then it just rips everything up. And like I say, a good thing, I suppose, for you with this regard is that you're still allowed to walk, but there are certain situations where you're totally shut down and you have to sit up with your leg up on the sofa, and you're like, losing your mind. It's so tough.
Gravity is the enemy. It's funny, you reading the post-operative notes and having a chat to the doctor, and things like heavy leg press and squats, you can't do them. I said, well, for how long? He goes, forever. Like forever. So I mean, they err towards caution. I'm doing a deep dive on that. Obviously, I don't do the weights I used to do, coming from being sort of 93 kgs down to mid 70s is a bit of a change for me in terms of riding bikes now, but still pushing hard on pedals and doing that type of stuff. So I'm very aware. I'm probably going to take another week off. Very aware that I do have to take the time to recuperate and regenerate and just keep the passion going. Fortunate, as you said, when the doctor said, mate, you're going to have to walk for an hour a day, and I take it for granted, because there are people, they said to me, oh, you can do it in 2 30-minute blocks. I'm like, what? Why would I do that? And they go, well, some people can't walk for an hour. I'm like, fuck, you're right. So I'm in a situation where an hour walk, I was like, shit, yes, I'm all over that. And me being me, I get back to the letterbox at 58 minutes and 12 seconds. I have to walk down the road and come back until the clock ticks over 1 hour and 10 seconds, then I can switch it off. But having the opportunity to keep moving, I'm still grateful for. I have been in the opportunity, as you have, bro, where you've been injured and not been able to do anything. I've been in a cast for 6 months previously, a long time ago, through rugby, from my hip to my heel, and that was not cool. So certainly, you can go back to that dark place and think, that's why I need to avoid injury. That's why I need to be sensible. That's why I need to change some of the habits and avoid stuff like this, because being on your ass completely, and there are people out there that may be listening that could be in hospital beds and sitting and with a hope that they can get back to doing something. But fortunate that I could keep moving. And it's, you put that in the basket of first world problems, in the scope of things. So fortunate to still be able to do something.
We were
get down in the garage, put the trainer on.
Got to get the yards done, bro? We were talking about that at the barbershop today, about you sort of only see the world in the environments you hang out in, right? So if you're a gym people like we are, you see people that are like you all the time. You see people that are always training. They sort of lead healthy lifestyles, like to move and groove and whatnot. So you do sort of forget about, and I was just sort of using the example of being a plus 40-year-old and how you feel like you did when you were 25. It doesn't really feel any different in terms of how fit and strong and healthy you are. But then you think there are other 40-plus-year-olds where perhaps the health isn't as good as it could be, or carrying a bit more extra body fat and those sorts of things. But because you're always sort of surrounded by your little area, you don't really notice everything else that's out there, like those that probably, may have trouble walking longer than 30 minutes. So it's really good to mix up those environments, especially if you do have things to offer or support, or even just, an ear to listen with. It's just it's sort of that whole echo chamber thing we talked about, that you always find people that, that agree with what you agree in. And it's nice to be able to venture out and be like, shit, that is out of my comfort zone. Like for me, going to a jiu-jitsu class when I did, a wee while back, that was well out of my comfort zone. Because again, it's not, it's totally something you don't know, different conversations, different mindsets, the way people do things are very different, and it's cool. So we do need to venture out a lot more. Myself, from the regular training environment, I think it'd be good.
It's more refreshing, because even in those, like saying, in those echo chambers, there can be an immense amount of pressure where you feel as though when you have to do stuff just to keep on top of it. You've got to want to be there. You've got to want to do it. There's got to be passion behind it and purpose behind it, and then the results start to flow. If it's part of you, like Glenn getting up at 4 o'clock and training. In relation to that, you build your own luck, don't you? The foresight to it's almost like predicting the future, because if you want to be fit and healthy, you're going to do whatever it takes to get there. And maintain it. But so changing that environment, sometimes mixing it up, but still within a positive environment, but something different, something completely different. If you're moving, team, if you're moving, doing something that requires movement, you're winning. For half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour a day, fantastic. If you're smiling, doing something that makes you smile every day, proven to improve your moods. Just a smile, just a cheeky smile. Did a little 4-minute mindfulness session. I sent you that through for you, bro. Have listened to it, but it's just a kickstart for the day. Just a 4-minute little reminder. Close the eyes, put the headphones in, listen to it. A little bit of a pump up, reminding you the importance of smiling and the energy that can bring. And I've spoken about this before. You take a smile into any room, and it will be contagious. It'll color the room. And that's where we need to go. Even sometimes when you don't feel like smiling, try and smile and see the difference it makes. Think of something funny. look for something, look for humor. If you can, just give it a go.
Mate, a funny example on that. When I came to Christchurch years ago, I got into some modeling, as you.
Well, of course you did. Of course you did.
Hey, hold on. As I think you may have done also, brother. So anyway, so I remember going for my first photo shoot where they want to get, your profile set up. So they're like, back in the days, and they're like, okay, Cody, let's get some smiles. I have no idea what to do. I'm a rugby player. I'm a full-on meathead. So they're like, smile. And then of course you go, got this real weird smile, and you can't, because you're forcing the smile. And so I remember the lady, the photographer, she goes, just think about someone or something that makes you smile. And I just thought about my younger brother and like all these good times we'd had, and we lived together in Australia. And man, then I was almost smiling too much because I was getting way too into it, being like all these memories of like, makes me smile now. But it's so cool. You're right. Like that whole Tony Robbins talks about, you can change your mindset and your feeling in an instant. Bang! You can flick the switch by doing things like that. Like putting right then, all I did was talk about and think about those times where we had great laughs and we smiled and straight away your mood and your mindset flicks like a switch, And so what a great practice. Have those things in your back pocket for when you need them. Like what do I need to work on right now? Like I've got to, shake this thing out, and it's amazing how quick this can change. But we don't really use that weapon, I think, enough. It's more like we just stay in it. Let's just hang out in this feeling, in this environment where, seriously, flick of a finger, flick the switch, boom, let's go. It's good.
You could do it, some of us. And thanks for reminding me about my modeling times, mate. Great times in my life. I was 6'1", 69 kgs, 28-inch waist, and I was told I wasn't tall enough and needed to lose weight. So really positive environment back in those days. Super cool, yeah.
Hey, just a quick one. I got fired because I showed up and the jeans they gave me to fit wouldn't get above my knees. My booty and my quads were not built for skinny jeans, that's for sure. So I was a good t-shirt model. T-shirts.
Well, I did get an underwear modeling gig, to be honest, and it was for Bend On. It was. I guess we can say Bend On. Of course, we can say Bend On. Icon in the underwear industry, not sponsored, but I did get a gig doing that. I was in relatively good shape, but the reason I got it was that my predecessor could not handle the fact that we would go behind the curtains and get changed. There was 2 females and 1 male. He couldn't handle the fact that there was nudity at some times, and expressed it in a certain way that wasn't appropriate for walking out on stage in Bend On underwear. But
yeah,
I was stoic and focused and determined and nailed it. So claim to fame, mate. Jedi mind powers.
You would have done it without the underwear on, mate.
Walking around in undies. Well, there was a couple of jobs available that I chose not to take. No, seriously.
Yeah, early OnlyFans, mate. Early OnlyFans before there was OnlyFans.
We digress. Yeah. Let's talk about feet. I think you're right, mate. Because happiness. We talk about the search for happiness, and I think we get hung up in it because what happens is people have a goal. And we've got to kind of work with them one hand in hand. And I'm reading a book at the moment, Code of the Extraordinary Mind. And it puts it beautifully because we've got our future aspirations or our goals, not so much goals are funny things, but our future aspirations, where we want to be. And we tie that into our happiness. And so, but what happens when you get there, actually you think you'll be happy, but if you're driven, and you have a purpose, you're gonna reset, and then you're gonna say, okay, now I want this, and you forget about the importance of being present and being happy in the moment, of living your happiness now, of being happy now. And it's about contentment, and it's about fulfillment, it's about being happy with who you are, knowing yourself, appreciated. The gratitude is a massive thing. Practicing gratitude will give you the sense and awareness, the sensibility and this awareness of your environment, and that overwhelming sense of happiness, right? But yeah, we get caught up. We're looking too far ahead. And I think if the trap though, if we focus too much on being happy right now, we lose all aspiration in moving forward. We think, oh, I've got everything I need. Why should I strive to be better or harder because I'm happy? It's got to get that balancing act right. We've got to be happy with what we've got. We've got to have something to aspire to, but not that shouldn't be the root cause of our happiness. That should certainly be something that we aspire to do, but we should carry our happiness with us on every step of that journey. So we should be happy, live in the now, mate. I'm gratitude today, and you may attach it to, if you think of gratitude in the workplace or things you're grateful for in your job, people will go for, grateful for the money I earn, but mate, forget about that fluff. Again, that's the stuff that society says that we must focus on. How does your work make you feel? Are you grateful for the way that work makes you feel? Are you grateful for the flexibility it may give you? Are you grateful for the support that you have? So forget about the society benchmarks. In the code of the extraordinary mind, they're called rules or bullshit rules that we kind of adhere to by default, because again, we've talked about this many times. These are pre-programmed into us. These are handed down to us, given to us. The aspiration, I need a car, if I need a cool car if I want to be accepted, and it's the difference between you wanting a big house or a loving home. That could be exactly the same building, but you want them for completely different reasons. So it'd be interesting to write them down and see where you sit within that. What are you actually looking for? The contentment, the feeling. Look for the feeling. Appreciate the feeling, and the family. You can certainly appreciate the people, but certainly the way they help you feel, the level of support you receive from them, the unconditional love that you get daily from them. The hugs that you get daily from them. You don't have to go, I appreciate my wife. Cool. Well, why wouldn't you, mate? She's obviously behind every great man. There's an even better, stunning woman. We know that history keeps repeating and reminding us of this. But yeah, just how does she make you feel? Like my wife is my number one supporter and rock. Courageous woman, like Glenn said, with his wife, a connector. She's my benchmark in connecting to people because it's real for her. And she's just good fun, and that's why I done married her, because she made me laugh and she made me feel amazing.
There you go, brother.
As she does today.
Love it, mate.
Yeah. So be mindful. Be happy. Be happy. Smile. Be grateful for what's around us, but also that carry that with you daily towards your aspirations. Have aspirations, have goals, but don't let your goal be the source of your happiness. I won't be happy until I make $1 million. Well, mate, you'll get to 1 million and you'll go, okay, I think I'll be happier if I have 2 million. So automatically, what do? You detach happiness. You say, I won't be happy until I get to that point.
Yeah.
Be happy now.
I talked a little bit about that with that whole focusing on the destination, the end in sight.
Fully.
Where the journey is so important, and it's really to slow it all down, because again, we're all starting in the same place, we all end in the same place. The path is the same for all of us. The path can be varied, but the end target's the same. As a grade, that's where we're all heading. So but it's really easy just to get caught up, and then if it's a 3-month goal or a 6-month goal, whatever it is, all of a sudden you're like, what have I done? And you hear about all those stories about very focused people who spend, they might have young children, and they're spending all that time developing their business and making money and growing through an organization, to when they get to around 15, 16, their kids are around 15, 16. And then they're like, well, now I want to build a relationship with my kids, because we've got to where I wanted to go. Now we're successful, we've got money, we've got security, but now the relationship's passed. The kids, all they remember is the sports games you didn't come to, the times you never picked me up from school, the times you worked late, the times you were overseas. They don't remember. They don't have any of those, like the little cool things along that journey. Those little really cool things, and that's the magic, is being able to balance the both. But try to set a relationship with a 16-year-old who doesn't really know you. Like, if they're like, well, who the fuck, where were you when I needed you? It's tough.
Exactly.
So that's really that whole journey. The goal is the journey. The goal is that.
And two, when you look at people that have been together for a long time, if you're not constantly checking in and the process of growing together, you see it a lot when people suddenly get to an older age, or they're sitting at opposite ends of the lounge and armchairs, just looking at each other going, who the fuck is that? you know, and they don't, because they don't even know themselves. The great thing about the opportunity when you're going through life is sharing and growing together, you know, because the person that you decide to spend your life with, or the people that you decide to spend your life with, in respect, it doesn't have to be, you know, a marriage. It could be a partner. It could be friends. There's no right or wrong way to do this thing called life. There's your way, or the way the universe has dictated that you will move in. Yeah, so you get to that stage where you're like, hey, who is that? Well, what are your goals? You know, and I think it's important to be as supportive to the people that are closest to you. You know, if you're having these deep and meaningful chats, if you're having those conversations, you're actually developing that together, and you're growing together. And then you can check in, you know, oh, how's this going? You know, how is the job going? How's the garden going? How's Jill? How's Bill? How's the pets? How's your new sock business going? All of these types of things. How are you feeling? What are you reading? All of these types of things that we should check in constantly as we grow together, because we do change dramatically each and every day based on the experiences. And this is why experiences become critical, because we can't just sit in a cell block, because life would love us to do that, you know. You know, society says, no, just stay in those four walls, mate. You don't need to know anything. Just keep farming, keep feeding the rich, just keep being you. You don't need to excel. Just be, you know, don't even, normal's overrated. Just, you want to sit under the radar. No, you don't want to bother anyone. No, you don't want to be a tall poppy. You don't want to excel. People will pick on you.
It's too risky, mate. Too risky.
Yeah. Too risky. It's way too risky to put yourself out there. Fuck it. Get a sledgehammer, break walls down, get out there, learn, and excel, exceed your own expectations. Because, you know, there's you are limitless in reality. You are limitless. Don't believe the hype of you know, mediocrity is something we're kind of born into, that's thrown at us repeatedly. Conformity. So yeah, find your own way, mate. Discovery, it's the greatest thing. And it's that malleability, and we talked about it before, you know, like a bodybuilder, you go out and lift weights, what happens? Your body changes. The same thing when you go out and experience stuff, your brain changes, your body chemistry changes, your positivity levels change when you're not only seeing the great things, but you're also experiencing levels of pain, making conscious decisions. You see people that are hurting out there. It gives you that relativity, right? Where you're saying, you know what, let's put this shit in perspective to where I am at today. And that's something I check myself up against consistently in terms of how I feel. And it's the same with being injured in relation to where other people are at, in relation to what other people can do. I'm blessed to be able to still walk up and down the stairs and go out and have a walk. So yeah, just get out, live it, love it, learn it.
Mate, you've got to miss the whole travel thing. Like, traveling is something that's amazing on the mindset, like experiencing things through travel, seeing different cultures, the way people run. And there's nothing better than being, I mean, obviously I lived overseas for a long time, but you'd always get the odd person who would be in there and they'd just be complaining about society in general in another country. And not like as an observation, like that's quite interesting, isn't it? They do it this way. It'd be like complaining, straight up whinging about it. And you're kind of like, bro, what are you doing here, mate? Like, why? Like, this is the way it is over here. This is the way they do their things. This is the way their culture runs things. How are you expected to enjoy this experience if you're just sitting here in like Wingeville, And so I remember working years ago in schools as an English teacher, where you just leave at lunchtime. I'd just go to lunchtime, lunch break would come, and I would go home, because I would make sure I was never sitting around the group of English teachers that were sitting in that area. Because, mate, straight away, get ready for the woe is me, the Whinge Festival, the bloody, all of a sudden you're in it and you're like, this is every day you guys do this, 5 days a week. Like, you know, and it's just because you're surrounded by everyone doing the same thing. where get out and enjoy it, get to the different places, don't try to, you don't necessarily have to understand everything, but just it is what it is, and just carry on. And that's how I got through, but I was there for so many years and I loved it. It's a great experience.
And we talked about leadership last week, and I think lead the way you want to be led, because in those environments you can actually be a leader and you can enforce change. It's really difficult though to change the mood in a room, but go down kicking and screaming, mate. Even to a point where sometimes I'll just, inadvertently or not, take the piss out of a situation, but just to try and get everybody up,
snap out of it.
Yeah, I mean, sports teams, you lose a game, look at the heads down in the changer room, and I've been there myself. I know what it's like, but it's a game. It's 80 minutes or 90 minutes, whichever game you're playing. It's 30 minutes in some cases, and you beat yourself up like it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you. Grab some perspective, because in every loss like that, in every down period, there's always a lesson.
Yeah,
there's always something you should look for to learn from. And if you don't enjoy that specific feeling, then you can take steps to ensure that you don't feel that way again. But if we go back to the 4 agreements, always do your best. Can you beat yourself up in those moments? Say you're in a team game and you had an absolute blinder. You played the game of your life, but everybody else was absolute shit. That's just the way it goes sometimes. That is just the way it goes sometimes. You can't beat yourself up, but the vibe would be low, right? And you go, come on, that's up to you. You just get in there and go, mate, look, at the end of the day, just had things didn't go our way, but next week, let's pick it up. Let's go out. Let's train extra hard. We know where our weak points. We know where we got exposed. Let's nail those in practice and make sure we don't make those same mistakes. Let's band together. Let's stay together as a team. Let's pick each other up and get out there and go hard and do it again.
Have you seen that video on the NBA? In the NBA game, and there's a guy that must have missed some shots or something, and he's like running back with his head down, and his buddy comes from behind him and goes, shunk.
Yeah.
Lifts his head up, like, rise up, mate, like, you got it. So we used to do that for a bit similar, but for our CrossFit WODs, you'd draw on your feet, you'd write on your shoes, right? And it'd be like, eyes up, or stand up, or eyes straight, or let's go. Because where do you go when you're exhausted? You go hands on knees, you go looking at the ground. And it's like, get up, or let's go. And you're like, fuck, all right, let's go. So you got to have these reminders. You need these reminders, whether it's a visual reminder, whether it's a, someone physically like pushing, like getting you into a position, get your head up, mate, let's go. And it changes your mindset.
That's great, mate, because I do use that on the bike too, indoors in the cycling studio, because, looking down will only slow you down. Because automatically, if your legs are burning, it's full of lactic acid and you're pushing super heavy, maybe you're under a prescribed beat and you're really, really struggling, and all you're doing is watching the process unfold, and you're actually, your whole body starts to react to it, and all you see is your legs on fire. You start to visualize it and you see them churning slower and slower. Looking at them will only slow you down. So you lift your eyes, gaze forward, and just that determination to move forward will keep allow you to keep momentum, rather than just looking down and just really overthinking the entire movement and experience. It can just you can blow yourself to bits.
Mate, and think, we have talked about it today, because that's that whole body posture and what, power stance versus slumping over and down. But our cell phone use, and this is from as soon as kids get cell phones at whatever age it is now. What is it? Probably 12, maybe 10, 11. I don't even know. But younger. Yeah. And so straight away, and we all do it, but your stance with your cell phone is head down, slouch down, looking down. So right away, we're shutting everything down. We're sitting. There's no benefits to sitting like this for anything other than just checking your phone out, And it's like, so we're a bit different. We didn't have cell phones till very many years later. And back in those days, there's nothing to look at other than maybe the snake game, if you're lucky.
Still can't work them.
But still, think about how many years these younger generations, the generations of our kids, are going to spend in that slouched over looking position. Like, it's scary enough for us as adults who have just started doing it as well. But think about that starting from now. Sure, technology will change. Who knows what it'll become? But, we're not upright. We're not standing tall. We're not eyes up. We're all in this slouched negative position, like a position of shame. This is what you do. You get your head down and you're lost. You're looking around like, wow, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, I know, and you can tell the people that walk out, or if someone walks into the room, if their posture is tall, you go, whoa, hang on a second.
Yeah.
But you feel better, eh? When you lift, you feel better. When you lead with your chest, when your eyes are up, you're alert. It's how we should move. It's how we should move as humans. We need to be aware. It's how you connect to experiences, by lifting your eyes, looking around, connecting to those around you, seeing what's in the room, getting a feel for where the energy is at. I love that, and especially I think being a non-drinker, you get pretty receptive to vibes and energy. So it's great to go where the energy goes, and you get to feed off that a little bit instead of just getting absolutely hammered and feeling as though you're the party anyway, when it could be completely the opposite. But yeah, walking with your head held high, always you'd be proud of yourself, mate. You got this far. Holy shit. Despite all of those things that life throws at us, COVID-19, we are still here. Obviously, the challenges from many years ago, being chased by a bear, those things are long since past. If you get caught by a bear in New Zealand, unlucky. You're very unlucky. You're very unlucky. Yeah, but I mean, think about the things that the challenges that we face today are way different. But it's more psychological, the stuff that we need to look out for, rather than physical, obviously. And there's reasons for it. Lots of documentaries and lots of books around the psyche of how we are getting led backed into this little corner, and a mindless, trying to reproduce a mindless nation. But we've got to just become leaders. You have the wonderful opportunity to excel in life using your mind. Like I say, it's malleable like a muscle. It will grow, it will learn, it will, it can develop each and every day. Don't just think because you're old. I mean, why do you think they say brain cells start to diminish and muscle starts to break down as you get older? Why? Because we don't use it. That's why we're not using it, because you're sitting down, surrendering, saying, that's it for me. Say 40 is the new 30 or 40 is the new 20 or whatever it is. Look at their level of activities and the stunning examples of fitness, even up into their, what's Tony Robbins now? He's
60
odd unit. Yeah, works out every day, cold plunge every day. Look for those habits that are going to put you in your absolute best, in pole position in that Formula One racetrack called life. Put yourself in pole position by being the absolute best you can be. It's about getting the sleep. It's about getting up as early as you possibly can and spending that time to be mindful. I've actually put a couple of things into practice of recent, because my habits have changed, making time to do a couple of those things. So yeah, it's been pretty cool.
I like that, use it or lose it. I mean, there's a couple of ways you can look at it. There's the old rusty car that you've got, and that someone's got that everyone knows, old trusty. They're like, this thing will never die, mate. This thing will go forever, and it does, until it gets parked up the old driveway for 3-4 weeks or a month, a bit over a month, where then it shuts down and it won't start again. It's like, what's going on? It's like your body. You stop using it, it just slowly shuts itself down. No use anymore. And so I really think we need to all be aware of that whole. You're old now, so here's your rocking chair. Sit down in there and stay there for the rest of your life. And so it's sort of, that's what the Western culture is. It's kind of like, it's time to stop moving now. I'll sit down, I've got it for you. Whereas we still need to be getting out and about and going for coffees and walking around and having some, things to do. So it's crazy. Yeah, the whole use it or lose it. Very important.
Strength is strength, power is power, and we all have the ability to excel in all of those types of things. And one thing too, I think we are creatures of habit when it comes to our exercise as well. And if you are an instructor, you probably get stuck in the same, not necessarily stuck in the routine, but it becomes your routine. You're doing the same thing every day, and that's why sometimes, I talked about it before, taking time off or doing something different that allows you to just fire muscles in a different way, or stimulate yourself in a different environment in a different way, or else you're just moving the same way. And if you feel as though you're getting static, and it could be physically or mentally, then just switch it up a little. Not switch it off, switch it up. it's a time maybe that it's kind of a prescribed change, rather than feeling, oh, what I'm doing just isn't working. I've had enough. I'm going to give up. It's just not worth it. Change the way you do things. There's so much more information available. The process of learning for us, like us, we're picking up books. We go on YouTube if we want to find something out. Okay, Google, hey Siri, all of these types of things that we are asking for information daily. We want something, like you say, snap, So what's the excuse? We don't have to sit through 40 years of mindfulness training in a temple to become mindful. There are accelerated tools that we can do, that we can sit down to, and we've got some great guests coming up that we can talk more about that. I certainly don't want to burst that bubble, but we have the ability now to reach out. Anything that you want to focus on, anything that you want to improve, you have the tools to accelerate your learning and hit the ground running. So why wouldn't you use that opportunity? Put yourself, because people are out there making mistakes. And that's what's great about it, right? Without them making mistakes and sharing the mistakes, they wouldn't have learned, and they wouldn't have been able to pass that knowledge on to you. And you know what? You're going to make some mistakes too. That's cool.
Oh, yes.
You and I, Codes, have made some clangers, but we are still pumping.
Mate, like I said, think about how many times you failed and made some mistakes learning to walk as a young toddler, mate. Fellow, you would have fallen over every 3 seconds, mate, all the time. But
mate, try as an adult. Trying to walk as an adult sometimes, mate. Yeah.
You didn't quit, did you? You didn't like shut it down and go like, you know what? I'm never going to walk here. I'm never going to try walking ever again. This is no use. There's no use. I'm just not going to do it. No, you keep on going and then look at it. Now you can even hop on one leg if you're lucky.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate. I mean, it's like drinking alcohol. I decided I had trouble walking due to excessive alcohol as a youngster. And it was the morning that I woke up in the lemon tree outside of my house that I decided that probably I should change suit and cut down on the drinks a bit. And my life changed forever. So no longer waking up in lemon trees, waking up nice and refreshed. And God, I love sharing, eh? I love sharing.
I tell you what, well, just on that, we've talked about alcohol a few times. I want to just share a little bit here. Next week, I am starting off a little program with some people here, or actually people spread all over the place. We're doing 42 days of this program, and part of the program is 42 days of no drinking, no alcohol. I'm also taking part in this, and the last time I would have done 42 days without any alcohol at all would have been, I know that it would have been the preseason one year when I was about 22. It was going to be my year of rugby, so I didn't drink the entire preseason. And so I went, so that was, that's 20 years ago.
Here we go.
So here we go. I'm going for 42 days and I want to cut alcohol. And so this is going to be really interesting. And it's good to do it on a bit of a journey with a crew, of course. And I'm curious to see how this works out. And it's going to be tough. I know it's going to be tough. I'm not saying I drink every day, but I do enjoy a nice glass of red wine on a Saturday evening while listening to some Bon Iver, So yeah, mate, I'll be pulling on your support during these next 42 days.
I'm committed there for you, mate. I can share some recipes. Green tea. Sit down, change your habits. Sit down and have a green tea or some beetroot juice or something. Be careful because it will stain the car. But maybe you get a beetroot juice instead of red wine. Same color, similar color. Yeah, it's funny that I should jump on that, Bob. I need something. It's obviously not sponsored by 42 Below Vodka.
Not yet, mate. Hold up, not yet.
Celebration party, day 43, mate, nightmare.
I was just over the whole 6 weeks thing. I thought 6 weeks. Well, what's better than 6 weeks? 42 days, mate. Because it's missions every single day for 42 days. That's way cooler than saying 6 weeks. I thought so. I just tweaked it up.
Make it on it. I love it because it's accountability. It's accountability.
That's the biggest part of it.
You do not want to let Chansey down.
Well, not just me, each other.
It would turn up at your door. You'll think, shit, mate, it's got dark outside. You think, is that the solar eclipse? No, it's actually Chansey turning up on your doorstep, blocking the sun. He's like an eclipse.
Done it
like
before.
A walking eclipse.
Mate, the thing I want to really work on with it, or just in general, it's a great philosophy, is the whole, I don't know if we've talked about it, but the Roger that, I call it the Roger that mindset when it comes to habits, right? Like Roger that. If you're in the military and someone gives you a directive, when you say Roger that, what does that mean? Consider it fucking done. I'm going to do what you just told me to do. That's my mission. That's my task. Let's go. There's no like saying that, then walking away and going, oh, you know what? I can't really be bothered today. Or I might just push the snooze button. Or I might just
try saying that in the army.
You know, yeah. It's like, you've said it. You've stated you understand the directions. You know what's going on, and you can consider it done. And I just love that whole idea. Roger that. It's on. It's done. Done. Consider it done. So that's what I'm pushing for this 42 days.
Roger that. You go and get it. Hey, mate, one funny thing, you know, I was because this was episode number 13. I'm like, lucky. You were talking about lucky number 13. We call it lucky number 13. Why is it so unlucky? It's ridiculous. If you do a little Google search, you'll find out there's a whole lot of potential reasons. No one really is. There's no real clarity around it. You know that 12 was a lucky number. That's why there's 12 numbers on a clock. So the 13th was kind of the forgotten number. 13th was the number. Judas was the 13th guest at the Last Supper, the guy that reportedly was responsible for the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. But at the end of the day, it's only an effing number. You know, do you know the amount of hotels? 80% of hotels in America have no 13th floor. This is the power of where the fuck has this come from, mate?
Yeah.
So if someone could clarify it without word of a doubt, superstition. And it's amazing how people are afraid of it. This is a Western thing, right? This is a Western thing. Egyptians actually were the ones that 13, I think, was a lucky number. So if anybody from Egypt is listening, this could be your lucky episode. Maybe it's historical. Maybe the Western world has polluted you and taught you into the fact that 13 isn't a lucky number. Bullshit. It's not. You know, even in cycling races, if people wear the 13, they turn it upside down.
What? Throwing my pen across the room. Mate, in Korea, it's number 4, because 4 is
lucky,
which means death. No, that's the unlucky number. But all your elevators are 1, 2, 3, and then the letter F. So no number 1, 2, 4. 3.
And number 8, the number 8, is that Chinese culture lucky?
I'm not sure actually, but that's the thing, because in China, like if you do red handwriting, you see red number plates for Chinese community here with red number plates. But in Korea, if you write something in red ink, for example, in South Korea, that's extremely bad luck. So that's how cool it is. You've got the red pen, mate. You put that away. Don't you write someone's name in that, mate? Are we pinning it up today, aren't we? This is a golden rule. We've said we'd never do this.
No, I haven't written. I haven't.
Death note.
Dear Cody, I have not written your name or anybody's name.
So, bro, I reckon before we finish up today, we definitely need to say another quick thank you to everybody. Big things, like you said, giveaways coming up. We really want to drive our community, don't we? Our fam. We want to get our fam a bit more involved. We've got to get sorted on that. But we like to put it out there so that it means it's in writing. It's in the universe now. It's our legacy. We've put it into words on video. So now we have to deliver, and we'll get onto that, bro?
Yeah, it's like in life, everything is a work in progress. You know, it seems like we say we set goals of being here weekly for each other and for our listeners and viewers, and we've done it. We're crushing it, and it seems like so long ago. You know, whereas we're saying, oh shit, is it a week already? Now it seems like so long ago. So we love catching up with you guys and catching up with each other. We do. We have daily chats anyway, bro. To be honest,
That's right.
We have daily debriefs and cool stuff that pops into our head, and share images and all sorts of things like that. And that's what we urge you to do. Just catch up and share. There's nothing beats, you know, that moment when you experience that deeper level of connection with someone. You know, and you expect, and you know, you can feel that they're genuinely interested in you as a person and getting to know you. And so you know, both of us really urge you to get out there and, as I say, connect, be real, be authentic, be 100% you, and also understand and appreciate people who are out there trying to be authentically 100% them, and fucking praise them for it. You know, the people in your life that are stunning, outstanding, heroes, whether they're teammates, workmates, loved ones, children, 100%. You know, we can just think, they know. I bring home the pay packet. They know that I love them. Every day, make it your mission to tell the person closest to you that you love them, and show them in some specific way that you care. It will make such a difference. Express gratitude, experience gratitude, live gratitude. Remember, not just for the things, but for the feelings. And life will be so different, so cool, man. It's out there, it's amazing. Like finishing off this book, I've actually lined up 3 other books. I think I've got 2 more chapters to read. Code of the Extraordinary Mind. I've got 3 books lined up, ready to go. The audiobooks. Code of the Extraordinary Mind was linked to me. It's paperback, so learning to read properly again, which is a challenge, I must admit. And it's hard, it's graft. I really struggled with it. But taking that challenge on, getting some more audiobooks lined up. Cody and I will actually, what we need to do, bro, is even on our Insta, we'll create that little library, We'll take snapshots and maybe put them in. That's our library. Already shared books. A couple of people have gone out and bought the 4 agreements. Looking at the 5th agreement, amazing. Stunning read. Couple of things that Glenn recommended. So I've got into a couple of those, and we'll put those down as well. So as we get guests, we'll get their reads, their recommendations. And it doesn't matter, if you're into mindfulness or not, if you're into business or excelling or wealth or sport, I think it's important to grab a snapshot of everything and get that different perspective. So it's not about just reading things you're interested in. I've seen some interesting stuff. We're saying, if you're not interested in it, if it doesn't apply to you, why read it? We've got to start, just expand, just learn about how other people think, because there are rules in there that will apply, or you can apply to your life and set that direction. At the core of it is happiness. Being grateful, be happy, live your life in the style and manner at which you can excel. Creatures of light, I've talked about it before. I just love it, the opportunity I've had to not so much live a different life, but to lead through light. Lead through light. Don't be a wanker.
Don't be a dickhead.
Don't be a wanker, bro. No one needs to be a wanker. Lead through light, lead through wisdom, lead through being kind. Share a smile, receive a smile, be grateful, thank people for their efforts. And a big thing I've been doing actually for people, even through emails, I've been finishing off with just, I appreciate you. Just that's been my little send off. I appreciate you, because the people that are coming through are people I've actually known for a long time and had the dealings with. Everybody gets under pressure. You can see some people are stressing sometimes through emails. They're very hard to read, but I just say, I appreciate you. Go out and let people know you appreciate it. Like I appreciate you, Cody. You know that, bro.
Yeah, bro. You too, my brother. All right, my man. You know what time of the day it is. Let's rock and roll. Everybody, thank you all for tuning in to episode number 13. We're fired up. Guests coming up real soon. We love your work. We appreciate your time, your effort, your ears, your comments, your feedback, everything. Please like, subscribe, follow, comment, all the amazing stuff. And we'll see you all in episode number 14 next week.
Share the vibes. Peace.